1.
Ignition.
There we go.
You see some white boards falling off. Is that considered normal? That's
yes.
protection.
That keeps the temperature.
Shield, right?
Yeah, power is clear.
All right, we're going to see a number of critical stages throughout the flight. We're going to be walking you through each and every one of them, starting with the pitch over.
That's the moonshot.
Very soon.
Yes.
So this is a camera mounted on the carrier rocket.
View of the side boosters. If everything goes right momentarily, we're going to see the jettison of the escape tower, right?
No,
yes. About 120 seconds.
So that's the first critical movement we're going to see.
Exactly.
This is the infrared view of the rocket.
Yes.
Everything is going well.
The taikonauts look fine to me.
They are experiencing the forces now.
How many G-forces are they enduring for now?
The maximum is during the separation of the first stage, about 3 to 5 G.
All right.
So this tends to be a period where they can experience discomfort in the flight.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the G forces are together with the vibration.
A movement, what we call a pogo, which is up and down movement. You know, faster and slow, faster and slow, like up and down. So that pogo is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that is because we use the liquid propellant system.
Right. We're about 90 seconds into the flight.
Okay.
Once again, you're seeing the bright flame of the side boosters,
picking up
first stage rocket.
So the emergency escape tower will be jettisoned soon.
Yeah. It has already completed the pitch over, right?
Yeah. About 12 seconds after liftoff.
You see the escape tower and then the strap-on booster.
Oh, that's the 3D animation of this flight. That's based on real telemetries.
Okay,
there
great.
you go.
Yeah.
That's
the escape
tower jettisoned.
At about 153 seconds will be the separation of the 4 strap-on boosters.
Yes. And that separation we just saw there really indicates a successful initial lower level flight. They were doing okay.
Not until the first stage. We'll see this one will be happening anytime.
Right. I think it's happening now.
Separate soon.
The boosters will come off momentarily.
Of course, this is the most dangerous part, right, of the launch. Okay.
Boosters are off.
Booster separation.
And then first stage separation.
And then the first stage separation.
You see the 4 light part, that's the strap-on booster.
Yes.
The first stage is
5
already
bright
separated.
dots over there. The 4 little dots are the boosters, the 1 bigger dots are the first stage rocket.
With each
at
stage
about
accomplished.
210 seconds will be the separation of the payload, jettisoning of the payload fairings. Because the altitude is already very high. So at this moment, the aerodynamic forces is already become weaker and weaker because the max Q has already been passed.
I believe you're getting a visual of the second stage engine. And
The
this
second
is
stage
the
has,
view inside the fairing.
Yeah, the second stage has a main engine with a thrust about 75 tons and 4 vernier engines to control its attitude.
On the left side, you can see it's folded solar panel. So the fairing has been separated.
Successful
So
deployment
this
of
is the
fairing.
folded solar array that is going to be deployed. So that's a camera looking at the solar array itself.
Yes, and that's the exterior of the spacecraft, actually. Now the spacecraft is entirely exposed in space. Fairing
It's
open.
already in outer space with no atmosphere, so fairing it doesn't help anymore.
And
It has already escaped the Earth's atmosphere at this point, right?
Yeah, it's already high enough. And Yaping at this moment can enjoy the sightseeing outside the window.
But it's all dark outside the window.
Yeah.
Right? See, it's all dark.
But they will see daylight very soon, minutes. They're circling like 90,
they
95.
are flying eastward. So as Yan Song has mentioned, we will see because you know that it's in a different zone. We can see the working conditions of the rocket engines on the second stage.
Right. And for a first-time traveler, Guangfu is pretty
Yeah, he's not
composed there. He hasn't even looked outside the window once.
I was going to say that. Probably because it's dark right now.
There's nothing much to see
there.
there.
There's not much to see. He's waiting for more light so he can get a better visual
They're going to get the 0G in any moment now. So once you have a shutdown, they have a 0G very.
So when will be the time they endure the maximum
when all the engines were shut down,
okay.
they will experience the 0G. So there is an indicator inside the cabin.
Okay.
And you may notice that because now it is already in a vacuum condition, and the flame of the rocket engines, the shape is quite different from when it is lifting off.
And they look pretty all right to me.
I don't know how they do it. They look so cool, calm, collected.
Just as they're on the ground, no G-forces
just as if they're
at all.
on the ground. It's amazing to look at.
The next critical movement we're going to see is the shutdown of the second stage engine and then the spacecraft separation.
Yes, first we will shut down the main engine, and then the 4 vernier engines.
Is there anything that the astronauts can do to offset the effect of high G-forces?
At this moment, as we mentioned, it is in the normal procedure, so the maximum G-force is only 3 to 5. So they have the capability to monitor the status of the spacecraft. And we can see from the animation just in the previous video that shows the radio beams of the ground stations to the vehicle. And at this moment, the videos we can see of the camera is downloaded to the ground stations. So the ground staff can also monitor the working conditions of the rocket engines.
And Flight Commander Zhai Zhigang is sitting in the middle, Wang Yaping over there, picking up her manual, taking a look at it again.
The book again. So I think the newcomer is testing when to have the 0G, and he's so ready.
Well, that's the fun part, yes.
But with the 4 or 5 Gs, it really doesn't affect too much the human bodies. You get the adrenaline, this thrill out of it. But human body can
That's
take...
the ultimate adrenaline thrill. That's the ultimate adrenaline
That is
rush.
for sure.
The maximum
maximum
human can take is 12 or 13 Gs.
And even more so for the first comer, for the first time traveler, Ye Guangfu, right? He's done years of training. This time he won't be flying in a simulator no more. This is the real deal.
This is the real deal.
And only in the real flight he can experience both the G-forces and the vibration.
Looks like we have a good burn of the engine, and the telemetry tracking is good. We're going to have a shutdown in a moment.
Oh, we're hearing the call out.
Okay, the main engine has shut off.
Second stage shutdown.
Now you can see the vernier engine, the 4 vernier engines are still working now to adjust its trajectory to ensure the accuracy of the orbit.
I keep looking if they are having any kind of communication, because I would imagine that the two veterans would try to, talk the new one through it. They would comfort him, but that's not happening, which shows that you have real confidence.
Complete trust in him.
They have complete trust and confidence.
The post of the WeChat Yaping has showed this. Support your opinion.
I'm sure they have plenty to talk in the coming 6 months.
And her daughter also comes to the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center for her mother.
To watch the launch, wow.
Yeah.
What a proud moment.
And this is the view of the solar panel still folded outside the spacecraft. Later we will see the deployment of that solar panel indicating a successful launch mission. And that is usually the time we can hear the loudest cheerings and applaudings from the control room.
Yaping also shows pictures of her daughter Zhao Yunxi in her WeChat moments of her daughter's daily life, like other young mothers.
At the end of the day, she's just another mother.
Well, she's such a great inspiration for the girls out there, right?
No
a
doubt.
mother,
No doubt.
a great wife, and also
And can you
an
imagine
excellent
if she gives
astronaut.
another space-based lecture to all the young Chinese students looking up to her?
Yeah.
That
8
would be a
years.
huge inspiration.
Yeah, 8 years
I
after the
believe.
first time she gave the lesson. That was watched by over 60 million children. Imagine that.
Lucky.
Okay. That's the successful spacecraft separation. Okay. That 3D animation is showing you the spacecraft flying on itself. It's a three-part module, a three-module spacecraft, as you can see. On your right is the orbital module. In the middle is the re-entry module where the three astronauts are sitting. On your left is the service module, right?
Opposite. The next critical step will be unfolding of the solar panels.
Zero G, as they're enjoying now.
Oh, this is the gravity.
It's already in the
environment.
microgravity environment.
Floating time.
So this is first time Mr. Ye Guangfu experienced it.
Wow.
So there are no pens around this time. I believe that the last time we saw some
Yeah.
pens floating as soon as they hit.
Oh, there you see. Floating manual is playing
Okay,
with
that's
it.
a zero-G indicator.
That's the point of the book.
The point of the
Whose book is that?
Ye
Ye Guangfu.
Okay, so he's
new
showing
guy.
off.
He's
He's
showing
showing
Now
off
he
a
is-
little bit.
Now he is a
that
naughty
they're
boy.
into-
Now you want the pen?
Now, the minute it asks for the pen
What
is
picture
happening.
do you want?
Yes.
So he has fulfilled his dream to come into outer space.
You can tell who's the new person among the crew. I mean, look at the other two.
Well, you see that Mr. Ye Guangfu is fourth astronaut of China come into orbit of the second batch of China's
wow.
astronauts.
Okay.
But it is very unique that you know that usually we do not release the names of the astronauts before their flight missions. But Mr. Ye Guangfu is an exception because he attended the trainings in Europe, the cave trainings. So his name is well known by Chinese and Europeans.
And China has only selected 3 batches of astronauts so
Yes.
far, right?
Yes.
So Ye Guangfu
and
believed to the second
the
batch.
second batch.
That was being selected when? In which year?
About maybe
More than a
10 more
decade.
years
15,
before.
15 years.
Yeah.
So none of the other members, except for Ye Guangfu from that second batch, has
Mr.
conducted
Chen
flight
Dong,
missions.
Mr. Tang Hongbo
they're
are also, and together
from
with
this.
Yaping and Liu Yang, all these are belongs to the second batch.
So
now
they're
we
younger.
have, so now we have 5 astronauts who have belongs to the second batch coming to orbit.
Okay.
华山推轨帧数及分解参数法
You are seeing the 3D animation showing you the deployment of solar panels.
东风收到。